Welcome back, students. Good morning to all. Myself Sir Sunil, your physics teacher, and we are discussing nowadays our unit second, physical quantities and measurement. From this chapter, today we are going to discuss the point, the devices which are using to measure the time. Okay, students, please take out the book and watch the video carefully. Hi students, here is our topic, devices for measuring time. We use pendulum clock and a watch to find the time in our daily life. The two devices we are using in our daily life to measure the time, that is, which one? Pendulum clock. First one it is pendulum clock, second one a watch. These are the main devices we are using to measure the time. First of all, we are going to discuss about pendulum clock. Clear? We can say in figure 2.12, in figure 2.12, one pendulum clock. Okay, maybe you have seen, maybe in your home it is there. Just observe the pendulum clock which is given in our diagram. Okay, so now we are going to discuss about pendulum clock, how it will work, what are the different parts, and we are going to discuss. In figure it shows pendulum clock. In it, time is measured by making use of the time taken by its pendulum to complete one oscillation. One pendulum you can see in the diagram, that pendulum usually completing one oscillation. The time taken by its pendulum to complete one oscillation in a pendulum clock. According to that, by considering that oscillation, we are calculating the time. The pendulum completes one to one from more oscillation in 2 seconds. In 2 seconds, the pendulum completes one to and fro oscillation. That is, it moves from one extreme to other extreme in 1 second. Clear? For one to one from motion, pendulum takes 2 seconds. That means it moves from one extreme to the other extreme in 1 second, and then returns from the other extreme to the first extreme in the next 1 second. For going to next first extreme, they are taking 1 second. Then for coming back, for returning, it takes 1 more second. Then total 2 seconds. The circular dial has 12 markings. Okay, 12 markings divided in 4 quadrants. Each marking is further divided into 5 small divisions. You know how to measure the time. Okay. Okay. The circular dial, the circle divided into 4 parts. In each markings is further divided into 5 small divisions. So there are in all 60 small divisions are there. 12 hours are there. In each and every hour 5 markings are there. Okay. Then there are 60 small divisions. There are 3 needles joined to the axle of the gear wheels at the center of the dial. There are 3 needles. We know that the clock, there are 3 needles joined to the axle of the gear wheels at the center of the dial. These needles are named as second arm, minutes arm, hours arm. Okay, seconds arm, minutes arm, and hours arm. The seconds arm moves by one small division in the time interval when the pendulum moves from one extreme to the other extreme. Okay, students. The minutes arm moves by small division when the seconds arm completes one round. When minutes arm completes one round, then the hours arm will move. When the seconds arm completes one round, the minutes arm will move. And the hours arm moves by 5 small divisions when the minutes arm completes one round. Okay, here is our, just once again you observe our diagram. Okay, students, now we are going to discuss about a watch. A watch. Figure 2.13 shows a watch. Okay, it's a watch. It's familiar for you. Okay, so just observe the hours arm. Hours arm is there, seconds arm, minutes arm, like that. Okay, once again we can watch this one diagram. Okay, our this one, what are the parts? You see once again, hours arm is there, second arm is there, then minutes arm. Okay, then the pendulum is this one. Okay, this is pendulum. Okay, students, so now we are going to discuss about the watch. Then a watch makes use of the gear wheels. A watch makes use of the gear wheels. These wheels set up the speed of the rotation of the seconds, minutes and hours arms. Okay, these wheels set up the speed of the rotation of the seconds, minutes, hours, arms. Okay, students, the second arm is driven by a wound up spring. The second arm is driven by a wound up spring. The dial of a watch is graduated similarly as that of the pendulum clock. Clear, the dial, the circular dial, the 12 markings are there. In between 1 hour there are 5 markings are there. We have explained earlier. Okay, in pendulum clock, as it is the marking as given as it is like given in the pendulum clock only. So now we are going to discuss about measuring devices for a short time interval. For a short time interval, which device we are going to use? The short time interval of an event is measured with the help of a stop clock or a stopwatch. Stop clock or a stopwatch. So in figure it can show, it is there in the lab. Okay, this is stop clock, this is stopwatch. Okay, stop clock and a stopwatch. Okay, now they have arrangements to start. They have the arrangements in there to start and to stop, then reset at 0. In quiz competitions and all, maybe teachers are keeping the stop clock there. Okay, maybe you have seen. Okay, that is a stopwatch or stop clock. In stop clock or stopwatch, there is an arrangement to start and to stop and reset at 0. Okay, students. An electronic stopwatch is more accurate than a mechanical stopwatch. Nowadays, the electronic stopwatches are available. That electronic stopwatch is more accurate than a mechanical stopwatch. It can measure the time interval accurately up to 0.01 seconds. It does not have a minute or a second arm. It does not have a stop clock or stopwatch does not have a minute or a second arm. On the other hand, it has a digital display. It has a digital display on a screen. Electronic stopwatch have a digital display screen. Such watches are used for measuring the timings of athletics. For athletics, the running race and all, we are using like this electronic stopwatch. For athletic activities we are using. So now we are going here is a diagram. Here is a diagram of an electronic stopwatch. Okay, this is one, this one it is. Okay, now we are going to discuss about measurement of temperature. If we touch an object, it appears hot to us if heat passes from the object to our hand, while it appears cold if heat passes from our hand to the object. If we touch an object, we can feel that whether the body is heat or cold. We can feel heat or cold by touching the object. Thus, hotness or coldness of an object depends on the direction of flow of heat. Heat always flows from high temperature to low temperature. Heat always flows from high temperature to the low temperature. Thus we can say that temperature is the measure of degree of hotness or coldness of an object. Okay students, here we have the definition of the temperature, that is temperature is the measure of degree of hotness or coldness of an object. Now we are going to discuss about units of temperature. The SI unit of temperature is Kelvin. Okay, the SI unit of temperature is Kelvin. Apart from Kelvin, the other two most commonly used units are degree Celsius and degree centigrade. Or degree Celsius or degree centigrade we are using another units. Okay, then another one, degree Fahrenheit. The mainly two important units we are using to measure the temperature, we are using two units. First one it is degree Celsius, second one degree Fahrenheit. The symbol of degree Celsius, that is this one, degree Celsius. The degree in Fahrenheit, the symbol is degree F, degree Fahrenheit. Okay students, now it is named after the scientist. The degree Fahrenheit is named after the scientist Gabriel Daniel Fahrenheit. Gabriel Daniel Fahrenheit. The loving memory of Gabriel Daniel Fahrenheit, we are using the symbol, that's degree Fahrenheit, or we are using the unit as Fahrenheit. These unit and their symbols are given below here in the table, you can observe it. Kelvin, unit of temperature, first one Kelvin, the symbol is K. Degree Celsius or degree centigrade, that is degree centigrade. Degree Fahrenheit, that is degree F, Fahrenheit, the symbol. The zero mark is at the level of mercury in the capillary when its bulb is placed in melting ice, while the 100 mark is at level of mercury is in the capillary when its bulb is placed in the boiling of water. The space between 0 mark and 100 mark is divided into 100 equal divisions. Each division is called a degree. Okay, in a thermometer it is given. Okay, those who have seen the thermometer, they can see that the graduations 0 to 100 mark, and it is divided by 100 equal divisions, and we can see in that. Now measuring the temperature of an object using a laboratory thermometer. To measure the temperature of an object with the help of a laboratory thermometer, the bulb of the thermometer is kept in contact with the object. Thermometer having one bulb, downside one bulb is there, that bulb should be contact with the body, the particular body, then only the accurate measurement of temperature will be getting. Okay, you will get the accurate measurement of temperature by touching the body properly. The mercury rises in the capillary. Once the temperature is rises, the mercury also rises in the capillary tube. According to the temperature of the body, the mercury contains in the thermometer, that will starts to rise. Wait for some time. When the mercury does not rise any further and gets stabilized, look at the mark up to which the mercury has risen. Okay, when the mercury does not rise, when the mercury level stabilized, then look at the mark up to which the mercury has risen. Please note it that keep your eye in the horizontal line of the level of the mercury. Here in the figure 2.17 we can see that here show how to measure the temperature of water. Thermometer is kept here. Okay, how to measure the temperature of the water. You see the bulb of the thermometer that is kept inside the water. Okay, it is a thermometer. The graduations are there, you can see the graduations are there, and how we are watching the horizontal level. The horizontal level we are watching. Okay, students, it shows how to find out the temperature of the water. Here, by observing, we can find out that what is the correct measurement of the water here, that is 30 degree Celsius. 30 degree Celsius. Now we are going to discuss about clinical thermometer. Doctors use a special thermometer called clinical thermometer for measuring the temperature of the human body. For the patient's body, the doctors are using the clinical thermometer. Okay. About the description of clinical thermometer will be discussed tomorrow, and wait for next class and wait for next video. Today, goodbye and have a nice day.